Hi guys, welcome back to the Astrology. Today we are recording the video for the month of July monthly reading, and we are going to get started with some of the key dates that are going to be holding importance in this month. As you guys can see on your screen here, you have Sun in the sign of Gemini, which is going to be placed here for the first half of the month in July, and then it will be moving into the sign of Cancer from July 16th onwards. You have Mercury, which is going to be placed in the sign of Cancer itself, not his favorite position, but it is going to be in this position throughout the month until August 30th. Now, important bit for you to notice that Mercury will be getting retrograde from July 17th onwards all the way till August 11th, which means for the case of July, you can anticipate Mercury going retrograde for the second half of the month. Then you have Venus, which is going to be placed in its own sign, in its own house in Taurus, and he is going to be there until July 25th. So majority of the month he is going there in its own sign, and then it's going to move forward into the sign of Gemini from July 26th onwards. Mars continues its placement in the sign of Leo, where it is conjunct with Ketu. But at the last part of the month, from July 28th onwards, it will be moving into the sign of Virgo of Mercury. Now you have Jupiter, which has also been in the sign of Gemini, and it is going to be in Ardra Nakshatra from June 13th onwards. Now, important bit for you to notice that Saturn is going to be getting retrograded this month. It is in the sign of Pisces in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, and it will become retrograde from July 12th. You have Rahu in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is ruled by Jupiter, and it is placed in the sign of Aquarius, while Ketu is in Uttara Falguni Nakshatra in the sign of Sun in Leo, and it will get into Purva Falguni Nakshatra of Venus from July 20th onwards, which means there will be tad bit a shift that we'll observe in the outcomes coming in from Ketu's perspective as well. All right, Virgos, as you guys can see on your chart here, you have your Lagna Lord sitting in the 11th house. Good position, highly materialistic position. But as I said a couple of minutes back before, that Mercury is going to become retrograded. We'll talk about that bit in a detail. Rahu and Ketu in your 6th and 12th axis, where in 12th, Ketu is conjunct with Mars, who will be coming into Lagna at the fag end of this month. Then you have Saturn shown in your 7th house, will become retrograded in the middle of the month, like we mentioned in the date section. You have Jupiter combusted in your 10th in conjunction with Sun, who will be moving and becoming conjunct with Mercury with your Lagna Node in the 11th, and Venus for the major part of the month is going to be in your 9th and will eventually be becoming conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th. Now, first and foremost, Mercury, which is your Lagna Node and also the Lord of your 10th house, is placed in 11th. This position of Mercury is promising to deliver good growth, good outcome, development, achievement of objectives, goals, desires for you for at least the first half of the month. It is going to be a crucial state because one, it is going second to itself, and then the Lagna Lord going 11th to itself in 11th position itself. You will have this extreme drive, passion, ambition to achieve your objectives and goals. But you have to also understand, guys, that your Lagna Lord rules communication. It rules comic timing, youthfulness, business sense, cleverness. Your entire personality, Virgos, is dependent on it. And then also your karma, your efforts. And when he becomes retrograded in the middle of July, and that will continue into the month of August as well, some of these areas will see a crucial impact. Now, I know we are talking about transit, and thus I want you to take this with a pinch of the salt. Your natal dasha, antardasha, is going to hold primary importance. But when Mercury becomes retrograded, you will see that the Cheshta bal of the planet is increasing. It's like you are revving onto the engine, but you are not zooming past anybody, you're still waiting at the traffic signal. There will be unexpected delays, stagnation sort of a feeling will creep in during this point in time. And this retrograded impact from the 11th towards the 10th is going to be like you will have to put in harder, longer, greater efforts in anything and everything that you do. And if you understand this one simple bit, Virgos, that as to how this is going to be panning out for you with respect to efforts perspective specifically, you will be able to sail through the next 40-45 days peacefully. Yes, you are bound to get the right outcomes, but there could be significant delays in those outcomes. There could be certain unanticipated, unexpected challenges. And it is that Mercury is indicating you that, hey, loving Lord, hey, Virgo, come and put in more effort towards the side of Gemini. Push harder, work harder. And that is the bit that you will have to understand here, Virgos. Your gains will materialize eventually. He will become direct, but you will have to put that extra leg of effort for the next 40 days. So please do not shy away from that. If, I usually don't make such kind of statements, but if it means that you have to act like a workaholic, be a workaholic, bring that extraordinary amount of drive, please, guys, push yourself to the zilt and make sure that you achieve, because there is a definite promise of you achieving your goals. It's just that you should not be dropping the ball in difficult times. There could be some level of frustration, guys. It could happen that you might not be getting the outcomes the way you anticipate, but just hold on to it. It will materialize. Whilst this is not in retrogression, it is going to be a decent period from your romantic relationships, pursuits, interaction, education perspective as well. But once it gets retrograded, I would warn you, because Saturn is also the lord of your fifth house and he will also become retrograded. I would warn you to not be experimental, playful, especially with your investment strategies. Any kind of stock market investment cravings, etc., that you have, please be connecting with a guru, teacher, mentor whom you feel is going to give you the right advice, because Venus is well placed for you for major part of the month, not in the last part, for the major part of the month in its own sign. So you need to heed to somebody's advice. Similarly, if you are alluding to any kind of romantic relationships or pursuits, there could be communication gaps that might creep up. There could be certain challenges in terms of aligning your thought process with your partner, and unexpected differences might arise, which are not holding any ground, guys, but they might just creep in and create unnecessary confusion for you. Now, Sun on the other side is placed in your 10th house in conjunction with your 4th and your 7th lord. You would already be feeling the impact of this combustion of Jupiter, because somewhere or the other, your mental peace could be disturbed, your emotions could be running wild, but all of this calamity, all of these problems will settle down once Jupiter is coming out of combustion somewhere around 10th, 11th of July. So you will be in a good space from that perspective. Many of you who are married could be facing certain issues with respect to your marital bliss, or with respect to your formal relationships and partnerships as well. And that is where again I would want you to practice some level of caution. Please be watchful. See, these kind of impacts is not just coming for you, Virgos, it is coming for everyone, right, from a transit standpoint. But the impact of these are significantly different for every individual depending on your signs. If you're watching from a Virgo rising and moon standpoint perspective, that is where I feel that mental imbalance, emotional loss, some bit of loss from a monetary perspective for your assets as well, some kind of a depreciation in assets could also be seen. But please do not jump into any kind of conclusion. Just wait this period out. Don't take any kind of major financial decisions this month. That is definitely one call out that I have. Don't make any significant spending decisions as well. Any kind of major investment where you have to commit for a long term, I would want you to push that decision at least into the next few weeks. Again, from a relationship perspective, if you feel that there is that trigger, that confusion state that is arising, hold on, things will improve. Now, of course, Saturn will also get retrograded. We'll touch upon that bit a little later. But Sun and Jupiter combination in the 10th, very aggressive and prompt for your success at your workplace. I see you guys doing well. I see you guys pushing yourself a lot as well, and that is a promising sign. But Sun will be transiting into your 11th house in the second half of the month. Good period there. He will become conjunct with Mercury to the aspect of Sun and Jupiter into your fourth house, along with the aspect of Saturn into the fourth, is going to be holding prominence. So there is going to be a lot of things that are going to be playing around in your mind. Just hold your nerves there. Once Sun is in conjunction and forming that Buddhaditya Yoga in your 11th house, both of them will be mutually aspecting. And that is again a point where some bit of a tussle because of the communication bit that I was alluding to with the retrogression of Mercury. And now the presence of Sun giving that heated energy into your fifth house can be tricky. Not one of the best periods in the second half of the month, all the way to the first half of August for family planning, for child conceiving and stuff. You might want to figure out, especially we're talking about retrogression of Saturn now also coming into play for you guys. So you'll have to figure out as to when would be a suitable thing, unless until you are running through a good dasha, antardasha. Of course, there is a go ahead. Now, as we move further, we see that you have a beautiful axis of Rahu and Ketu in 6 and 12. That's a very good placement for you folks, guys. Rahu is in its own sign. It gives you that ability to overcome challenges, problems. Now, Rahu is also in trine to Jupiter, and both of them are in a nakshatra parivartan yoga, right? Because see, Jupiter is in Ardra, Rahu is in Jupiter's nakshatra. They are connected to each other. But because Jupiter is currently combusted, that energy, that balance is towards Rahu, that shift will again come into play. And given the Atichari movement, the power that Jupiter is holding, he will be bringing things into the right balance for you as you move further. But I really love this placement of Rahu Ketu. It is one of the best. And if you guys have been following my channel, you'll know that it's one of the most ideal situations for one to have. But in your 12th house, you have two aggressive energies in the form of Mars in Leo along with Ketu. Now, this can be a little bit tricky because Mars is forming that Vipreet Rajyog, being the lord of your 8th house coming into the 12th and the third house into the 12th. So, a lot of your efforts could go in vain, a lot of, or at least seemingly go in vain. And that is where you have to understand everything is falling into place. Mercury is getting into retrogression. Mars is in this, but at the fag end of the month, he will be coming into Lagna. So that problem which was not materializing will eventually materialize because Mars is 10 places away from itself. Understand, guys, from being the Scorpio Lord. And he is 5 places away being the 8th Lord. So that Vipreet Raj Yoga action is definitely happening for you. Things are going to happen after a tussle, after a sweat that you have to sweat it out, the work that you have to do to attain that success, that bit is being asked in the month of July. So don't drop the ball, keep pushing wherever required. But I would want you to refrain through any kind of unexpected expenses. Actually, that is not the right way to put it. Unexpected expenses are definitely going to happen. Luxurious spending is something that I would want you to avoid. If possible, go ahead and do remedial actions of just traveling and being to a spiritual place, to a holy place, or to a doing some charity of some sorts, or spending some time in terms of getting some health checkups proactively done, because that is going to fix some of the repercussions of what you're going to be facing this time. Spirituality is going to be of huge help. So guys, immerse yourself into watching more of Dev Astrology, or otherwise, if I may say, just finding that balance through doing any sort of activity that connects you to your higher self. That is going to be very important. Now, we will talk about what happens in the last part of the month when Venus also changes his house position, and so does Mars. But at this point in time, for the major part of the month, Mars will be giving an aspect to your third house, to your seventh house, and your sixth house. So the seventh house aspect is a little bit tricky, but it keeps a check on when Saturn gets retrograded. Why is it tricky? Because it can again create, thanks to the retrograde of Mercury as well, some communication gap, differences with your partner, with your spouse, with your business partners too. And I would want you to practice some caution on that front. In fact, you are getting good Shatruhanta Yoga along your 6-12 axis. But as things proceed through the course of the month, your aggressive energy, especially when Mars comes into the first house, he will be giving an aspect to the fourth, seventh, and eighth, right? And that is where your aggression could pump up. I would want you to channelize your aggression into some productive outcomes for you, which will see you materializing things much better when compared to letting things go haywire. Now, as we move further, we see Saturn is in your seventh house. It is the Lord of the fifth coming into seventh. Many of you could be vying for, translating your romantic relationships into marriage, into the next level of engagement, so to speak. But it is also your sixth Lord coming into seventh. So already some level of complication is there, as I had mentioned in my Saturn transit video of Pisces. But I will be creating another video next week, and please look out for it, because I will be talking about the impact of retrogression of Saturn in the seventh house. And it is going to be extremely crucial for you guys, Virgo. So keep a check on that. This Saturn is giving an aspect to your ninth house. There will be certain delays coming into play. And then, like everybody else, aspecting your sign of Sagittarius, or fourth house, and your Lagna. But once that retrogression impact is there, you are going to see a lot of momentum shift coming into play in your life. And that is going to be lasting for 135, 140 days. So it is going to be something important that you must be, looking out for, be prepared for it. Any kind of obstacles that you are facing. The good bit is that in retrogression also, its impact towards the sixth is going to be relevant for you, because you have good degree of Rahu and Ketu in this axis. I see you doing much better, Virgos, when compared to anybody else. Now, Venus on the other side is the Lord of your second house, sitting in ninth, being the Lord of the ninth. Beautiful placement. This is one of the good, strong Dhani yogas, Raj yogas coming into play for you for major part of the month, for roughly 26, 27 odd days. And you will realize that irrespective of all the challenges that you're facing, irrespective of all the problems, hurdles, obstacles coming your way, you keep on fighting through them. You keep on navigating, and whilst there could be certain frustration that might build, there will be that iota of luck that will keep supporting you. Your bosses, your superiors, they might have a helping hand on top of your shoulder. Your father, your guru, your teacher, your mentors could be empowering that benediction. If you guys are planning any kind of long distance, short distance travels during the course of this month, they are also going to be materializing good for you. Many of you might embark upon long distance travel, work related as well. In the last part of this month, Venus is going to become conjunct with Jupiter in your 10th house. Now, Jupiter's 10th house position coming out of combustion, good place for you, but the two gurus have an egotistical relationship, especially coming into a house like 10th house. And this is where you will have to learn at your workplace as to which side of the balance you might have to tilt. Interesting problem to deal with, because on one side, Venus is going to prompt with some shrewdness and cleverness, but on the other side, Jupiter is going to say, hey, play ball, be right, be good, and whatever, righteous path that you could choose. So that is something that you will have to figure out as to how it is going to be translating for you. But it is going to be good period. Again, the promise at the last part of the month is that because Mars will be in the ascendant, Mercury and Sun will be forming that conjunction in the 11th house, Jupiter and Venus will be prominently present in your 10th. Your energy, your focus with your karma and efforts, and the gains materializing through it, though trickling down into the month of August, they are all indicating towards an auspicious shift through the course of the weeks. So, guys, there is a lot of positivity around here. Health wise, I see you doing pretty well. Because Rahu is there, he is going to give some problems. Remember, he takes from one hand, but he gives from the other. Yet you will be able to overcome things. I don't anticipate any. I would want you to be careful with respect to your communication. Be watchful with respect to that. Keep an eye on the Saturn transit video, the retrogression. It is going to be important, because there are many things we have not discussed and covered here, which we are going to do a double click in that particular video. And then from a work gains, career perspective, from your competitive examinations success perspective, it is going to be a beautiful period. Be kind and loving to your partners, to your in your relationships, to your business partner or your marital partner. That is one thing that you have to keep a check on, and make sure that you bring the best out in you towards that. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to Astrology, and keep watching. Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Mahadev.